Hello there, teacher, your girl Nancy. I am back again with another video. This video, I'm going to talk very briefly about my opinion on the doctorate program. I've had so many people ask me about what I think about it, okay, and my thoughts and views about the whole getting your doctorate to be an OT. Number one, I just want to clarify that you have to remember that physical therapists had to also go through the same process prior to it being the norm, right? Now the norm is that every PT must have their doctorate program. It started with a bachelor's and then it became a master's and then eventually they switched over to a doctorate program. It's the same thing that's happening with occupational therapy. One, I don't see why we shouldn't be just like our colleagues PTs because we basically do the same thing, right? Most of the skill sets that we have as occupational therapists, PTs also have the same skill set. So why not have the same requirements in school for what we do as OTs? I think that that it's fair across the board, okay? You also have to look at another pro, which is that if we are being required to get our doctorate program, there's a lot more things that we can do. We can open our own practice without having a PT attached to it, or, there's a lot of things, not a lot, but there's certain things that we cannot do just with a master's program. So I'm for it. Obviously, probably it's going to be a lot more money. I'm not sure exactly how it's going to be as far as if you're coming straight from high school into the program, how long that's going to be. I'm not sure what the specifics on that are. But I do know that if I want to, I can go back to school to get my doctorate or my PhD, or I can just be grandfathered into being an OT, like a practicing OT. Like I don't necessarily have to go back to school to practice as an OT is what I'm saying. I can just go back in order to get that DR in front of my name, I will have to go back to school to get it. However, I can still practice as an occupational therapist without going back to school. Now, would I consider going back to school? Absolutely, 1,000% yes. But you have to understand, this is my own personal goals, okay? Ever since I was little, that was my ultimate goal, to get my doctorate degree in. But I didn't know exactly what field I wanted to get my doctorate degree in. But I knew from a very young age that I wanted to be a doctor of some sort. So yes, I will go back to school. I don't know when that's going to happen, but that's definitely something that I want to be able to accomplish. Now, I would have done it already, but the program that I want to do is not available right now. And I actually have a conference call with sometime this week to figure out if the school that I'm looking at would be able to provide something special for me. I do want to go back to school and do something with neurology because I really do love neuro and the brain and all of that. And how that affects like aging, a lot of the progressive disorders and stuff like that, strokes, MS, all that stuff is very interesting to me. How the brain works is interesting to me. The spinal cord and how all the systems work is very, very interesting to me. So, neurology was actually one of my favorite subjects in OT school. So I want to go back to school and do something within the therapy and neuro aspect of things. I know an OT that went back to school to be a neurologist. I think he's a neurologist. Oh, that's what he's going to school for. But I know that he had to, after he got his master's in OT, he's doing another 5 years in neuro. And I don't want to do a whole another 5 years of school. I'm not down for that. I want to be able to get my occupational therapy doctorate degree in a neuro specialty or something like that. So I have looked around. I haven't seen anything like it. If you guys have seen anything like that, let me know down below because I would love to know if there's a program out there with a neuro track that will be able to accommodate me. I would definitely jump on that bandwagon. And let me know why you are considering going back to school to be an OT, to get your OTD. Definitely, I think starting in 2021 or between 2021 and 2025, don't quote me on that, I forget the exact year, but I know for a fact that they are going to start to make that the new norm, that in order for you to be an occupational therapist, you need your doctorate degree, which I am for it 110%, because I personally feel like sometimes some PTs, not all PTs, or some PTs, or even some doctors, or some disciplines sometimes look down on OT a little bit because of, one, the lack of understanding. Sometimes when people don't understand what you do, they become confused by it, and therefore they don't really have a lot of respect for it, right? But everybody know what a doctor does, even if it's a doctor in physical therapy. Physical therapists are required to get their doctorate. I think that also comes with a lot more respect. I could be wrong. That's how I see it. So that's something just to think about. And I think it's definitely an individual decision. Looking at your finances, looking at how many years you have to be in school, looking at your long-term goal and see if getting your doctorate is something that is needed. I personally want to do a lot more with therapy. I want to open my own practice, and I want to do a lot more like networking with it, and a lot more like volunteer outside of the United States, and a lot of community type of work. And so I personally feel like I want to be able to get and I also, not only that, I also want to get an in-depth understanding or in-depth knowledge into neurology in general in relation to rehab, and how occupational therapists can be even more educated and even more I just want to dig deeper into neurology. That's all I have for in terms of this whole doctorate degree, and if you should go ahead and get it. Okay, all right, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.